It is a very exciting morning on the national briefing because I, your host, Kelly Nash, will be doing it all morning. I am going to be hitting refresh on all of the news outlets, and I will be hitting refresh, of course, on X, waiting for the breaking news that the Democrat leadership has condemned the words of Ro Khanna. He appeared yesterday on soon-to-be MS-13 now. I joke. I call it MS-13. If you haven't heard, they're MSNBC currently. And this is so bizarre, by the way. They've announced that they're going to MS Now, will be their new name, which stands for something like news, opinion, world. I thought it would be weather, but world. But when you, like anything else with MSNBC, it's very confusing because if you Google when are they becoming MS Now, it just says at a date to be determined. They don't know. They don't even know. They can't even break the news on themselves properly. Anyway, they've got a guy, speaking of confusion, the host is Eugene Daniels. Eugene Daniels seems very confused. Eugene has a beard and wears fingernail polish, but he doesn't even wear like a uniform color. So like one finger is pink, another is blue. Can't you figure out what color polish to wear, Eugene? Anyway, he had his big weekend show yesterday, and Ro Khanna appeared, and Eugene Daniels asks a very probing question.
In terms of Democrats standing up, should your Senate colleagues hold the government funding, hold their votes back on government funding in a couple of weeks in order to pull something from Republicans, whether that is getting the National Guard out of Washington, D.C., less weaponization of the DOJ? Should they be holding back their votes on the funding?
Is this even a question? Of course we should. Did we not learn our lesson when we acquiesced early on in the administration? Look, we didn't start off on a good foot. We had Democrats vote for Lake and Riley that has allowed for deportation without due process. We had Democrats vote for capitulation. We need to stand our ground.
Ro Khanna just said he wants to shut the government down. He's very upset, apparently, that they voted for Lake and Riley, which is an interesting take. I'd like to see you put that to the national vote. How do people feel about illegals murdering American citizens, and you're upset that we're deporting them? Interesting. That's a hot take from Ro Khanna. Anyway, he wants to shut the government down in order to, as our confused host Eugene Daniels asked, get the National Guard out of D.C. I'll remind you that since the National Guard went into D.C., we went from averaging one murder every other night to now a murder rate of 0. We have no murders. Carjackings, last check, was down 83%. The people of D.C. are infinitely safer today than they were, 10 days ago. And we're upset about that as Democrats. And so we're how upset? I'll show you how upset. We're willing to shut the government down. Now, there's no possible way the Democrat leadership can stand for a government shutdown. Let me take you back. This is Donald Trump is upset because the Democrats are blocking the building of the wall. Oh, they don't want it. They don't want it. So Donald Trump said, we're willing to shut the government down, and actually did for a short period of time. And Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer had a press conference. And I don't want to read their words because I don't do them justice. Let Pelosi and Chuck speak for themselves.
He has chosen a wall over workers. The president needs to end his senseless shutdown and reopen the government. You want to negotiate on the wall? Let's proceed in a way that is respectful of our security and respectful of our values.
We got to respect our values. Our values are we need the government open. And again, here's Donald Trump saying we need to stop people from illegally pouring over the border. The Democrats were trying to stop that. They wanted the illegals, obviously, to pour over the border because they don't want the wall. And he said, well, then we'll shut the government down. That seems to be the only thing that gets the Democrats' attention. What if we were to shut the government down? He was willing to take that on the chin because, again, there's a political backlash that comes with shutting the government down. Everybody understands that. They threaten the Republicans with that all the time. Pelosi right there trying to make the president pay for that mistake, in her opinion. But wait till we hear, where is my friend Chuck Schumer? because Chuck Schumer now he had brought up as props hundreds, I mean literally hundreds of employees that were being furloughed. So when he's speaking, they're right behind him. And listen to how he uses them.
And these are the people this is all about. These are people, it could be a cloudy Monday morning, rainy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
They have 100 fever.
What?
But they go to work.
Sick?
Because they believe in what they are doing.
That's before COVID.
They know how important it is to the American people. And to use them as hostages through a temper tantrum by the president is just so wrong, so unfair, so mean-spirited. It ought to end, and it ought to end now. And when you multiply those federal workers by their family members, the people they love and care about and who rely on their steady paycheck to survive, you get a better sense of the pain that the president is causing with his shutdown.
So just replace the word the president and put in the word the Democrats. Is Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, all of them. I mean, there's a long, Hakeem Jeffries, all of them have come out in the not too distant past and said, this is un-American. You are using these federal workers, you're destroying their lives, and it shouldn't be because you're trying to get something. Now, in this instance, Ro Khanna has said the something that we want is to get, well, he's upset about the Laken Riley Act. Why are we allowing ourselves to deport people? Anybody. He said without due process. Obviously, they've already had their due process. That's why they had an order against them. But more importantly, you're upset that the National Guard is cleaning the streets of D.C. And that is what you're willing to use all of these federal workers as, what did Chuck call them, hostages? And then you got to compound it. You're forgetting, Ro, that it's not just the workers, it's their families and even their friends, the people who love them. All of these people have to suffer so that you can get the National Guard out of D.C. Is that what you're willing to do? Well, I mean, that statement was made yesterday. I have not yet. I'm going to be doing it all day, by the way. I will be refreshing. You can join me in this endeavor. And the first one who retweets a breaking news that the Democrats have condemned the words of Ro Khanna about the possibility of ever shutting down the government, then you'll win a prize. I don't know what will get you. We'll get you a prize if you're the first to retweet. The Democrat leadership has condemned Ro Khanna's idea. He flippantly said, is this even a question? Of course we should shut the government down. I'm standing by. Democrats, it's your move.